All right, let's get right into it. Today we're diving into a really fascinating story coming out of Ghana. It's a nation that's right at the center of this huge global movement to reconnect with the African diaspora. And it's a story that mixes history, identity, and a really big modern question about money. So, let's unpack this.
So this whole thing really exploded back in 2019 with something called the Year of Return. Now you got to understand, this wasn't just some tourism slogan. This was a deep, powerful invitation to people of African descent all over the world, especially in the Americas, to come home, to reconnect with a heritage that was stolen from them by the transatlantic slave trade. It was a massive gesture of Pan-Africanism, and it got the world's attention.
And this wasn't just talk, not at all. This had a real, tangible impact. Since 2019, Ghana has granted full citizenship to over 750 members of the diaspora. They're welcoming them not just as visitors, but as actual Ghanaians.
But here's where this really heartwarming story of reconnection takes a sharp turn. A prominent Ghanaian lawyer, Kofi Asmah, is stepping up and asking a really tough question. He's saying, is Ghana, in its generosity, actually missing a huge economic opportunity? Could this historic welcome also be a golden ticket for the nation's future? And that, right there, is the tension we're going to dig into. Okay, first things first. We have to understand the why behind all this. Why is Ghana doing it? Well, the answer goes way back. It's written into their history and their laws.
You see, this is not some new idea that just popped up. Ghana's 1992 Constitution and then the Citizenship Act in 2000, they actually laid all the legal groundwork for this. They specifically made it possible for people of African descent to apply for citizenship. It was a very deliberate policy designed to acknowledge and start to heal the deep wounds of slavery. Then, the Year of Return came along and just poured gasoline on the fire, leading to these huge landmark ceremonies, like one just in 2024, where 524 people became new Ghanaians all in one go.
So, you get it. The policy comes from a place of healing and history. But now, let's flip the coin and look at the counter-argument, that all this incredible goodwill could and maybe should be used to fuel the country's growth. And this quote from lawyer Kofi Asmah really sums it up perfectly. His point is, hey, the sentiment is wonderful, it's noble, but the way it works right now, it's mostly ceremonial. He's arguing that by not asking for some kind of tangible financial contribution, Ghana is leaving a ton of money on the table, money that could be used to, build a nation.
So if not this, then what's the alternative he's talking about? Well, it's a model that countries all over the world are using. You might have heard it called a golden visa.
The whole concept of a golden visa is actually pretty straightforward. It's where you treat citizenship as a kind of financial tool for the country. Basically, a foreign national makes a really significant investment, could be in real estate, a local business, whatever, and in return, they can get a passport or permanent residency. It creates this direct line between citizenship and economic development.
And believe me, this isn't just some theory. It's a proven strategy. I mean, just look at Portugal. Their program has pulled in a whopping 7 billion euros since 2012. Or check out tiny nations in the Caribbean like St. Kitts. They've literally transformed their entire economies with this money, building new airports, hospitals, the whole shebang.
So what would this actually look like if Ghana tried it? This is where it gets really interesting. Let's just run the numbers based on Kofi Asmah's proposal. Okay, so we'll start with our baseline number. That's the 750 or so members of the diaspora who've become citizens since 2019. Now, just imagine a different system. What if each one of those applicants had to make a real investment in Ghana's future? Asmah throws out a number, something like $200,000. And that doesn't even have to be cash. It could be an investment in property, like buying a home there. So you multiply those two numbers together, and you get to a pretty staggering figure, a potential $150 million. And that's not theoretical money, that's direct capital that could have been pumped right into Ghana's economy. And listen, $150 million isn't just some abstract number on a slide. Think about what that kind of money can actually do. We're talking about modernizing hospitals, building schools that are desperately needed, strengthening the currency, tackling the housing shortage. It could turn what is now a symbolic gesture into a real, powerful engine for building the nation.
And this brings us right to the heart of the whole debate, doesn't it? It's this incredibly delicate balancing act between honoring a really painful history and at the same time pragmatically building a better future.
So here are the two competing visions, side by side. On one hand, you've got the current model. It's powerful, it's about healing, and it's rooted in the spirit of Pan-Africanism. It's a decision from the heart. On the other hand, you have this proposed model that's more of a pragmatic financial partnership. an investment in the future, a decision from the head.
But the people who support this new model argue that it's not an either-or choice. Asmah's point is that a golden visa wouldn't cheapen or water down the spirit of Pan-Africanism. Actually, it would do the opposite. It would channel that spirit into something concrete, into real contributions that could help every single Ghanaian.
And so that's the big question we're left with at the end of the day. Can Ghana figure out a way to merge these two big ideas? Can a country maintain its powerful, healing gesture of welcome while also turning it into a transformative economic strategy? It's a classic question of sentiment versus strategy, and the answer could very well shape the future of the nation.